Hello everyone, this is Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orbis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas River Basin. Thanks so much for viewing here today as we move and progress through summer prime time on the Arkansas River Basin. We are approaching August. We're wrapping up the last week of July here. Really has been a tremendous month on the Arkansas River. We've had some of the best, very, very best dry fly fishing that I can recall. Really fantastic fishing on this basin, and in large part to how much project water we've had this season, storage water in our upper reservoirs from the other side of the Continental Divide via the Fry Arc project. We've had a lot of water this year from the other side that we've brought into our upstream reservoirs, and thus attaining a little bit higher release out of Twin Lakes primarily into the river. And so while many years we'd be at about 800 to 900 CFS during this window of time, currently we've been holding at 1,000 CFS for really over a month. Conditions are exceptional at that level. Clarity's been just excellent. We really haven't seen that heavy monsoon activity that sometimes we will see in July that can send some off-color slugs down the river. Now that remains to be seen if we will get that later, but we did have heavy rain activity in May and June, so we may have received that heavier moisture, monsoon moisture earlier in the year rather than that typical July time period. We will, obviously keep an eye on that as we progress through August, but absolutely ideal conditions for the trout population at this stage. As we wrap up July, that 1,000 CFS window is absolutely prime for trout metabolism, keeping the water temperature in a perfect zone for both the brown trout and rainbow trout population in the Arkansas, which has in turn kept fish feeding throughout the day. So instead of those early and late time periods being your ideal time periods, although I would say you are going to catch more fish during that time period, those time periods, early, late, lower light conditions. Still, we are catching fish throughout the day, still finding fish looking up, eating dry dropper rigs during the middle of the day, the heat of the day. And, we have had some, quite hot weather here the last 10 days or so, highs in the 90s, even touching 100 degrees in Canyon City, and, high 80s in upper Bighorn Sheep Canyon and on the upper basin. So to see the trout activity sustained throughout the day has been absolutely phenomenal through the month of July. We've really been in a great position there. We'll continue to advise you to take care of the trout population during the middle of the day, those hot time periods. Keep those fish wet. When you're landing fish, keep them in the net. Try to release them in the net without touching them. If you can, if you want to take a picture, be sure your hands are wet. Get them back in the water as quickly as possible. During those hotter time periods when the water temperature is a bit warmer, say in the mid 60s, acid buildup within that fish gets pretty high, and if you keep them out of the water for any extended period of time, that can reduce their survival rate pretty dramatically. So we, when we're guiding, are keeping fish in the net and releasing fish without touching them. If we can, if we want to get a picture, we're being very careful that our hands are wet, and also, keeping the fish close to the water rather than that big lift. If you're floating, please don't get fish into the boat. That just really can can affect things. We can lose fish, we can see fish mortality increase, and so just protect the resource. This is an incredible river, longest gold medal river in North America, and it is that for a reason, because many anglers on this river are tremendous stewards of the fishery. So we like to see that continuation, that education for all new anglers as well that enjoy this resource. We're continuing to see tremendous hatch activity. We're seeing a continuation of a few golden stoneflies out there in the air, and then also seeing hoppers by the millions and billions, really. I mean, the hopper population is dramatic this season with all the moisture we had early on in the year, and seeing a continuation of great caddis hatch activity, probably 20 different types of caddis hatching on the Arkansas right now. Pale morning duns are continuing to be present out there, although that is waning a bit. But what is building dramatically then is the red quill activity. And we will see just a huge upturn in red quill hatch activity, spinnerfall activity in the evenings and mornings as we move into the month of August. And that will continue into September in that early fall window as well. We are already starting to see some trichos out there as well. And a lot of other, sundry bugs, flying ants and beetles and, other terrestrials that you can certainly take advantage of. Throw, especially on a dry dropper rig, you could throw in a tractor dry up front, throw a flying ant as a secondary dry fly, or throw a caddis on that second dry fly. Double dry fishing has been very, very productive for us and will continue to be as long as flows are in a great place, which they should be. As far as flows are concerned, we will most likely see those hold in the 800 to 1,000 CFS range here over the coming weeks, because we do still have a lot of project water upstream in our reservoirs to release. And so that will be absolutely ideal for the fishery as we move through the hottest weeks of the year. It's really going to protect the trout population and keep them in a great place metabolism-wise, keep them feeding throughout the day. So for anglers, that's a huge plus. Once we reach August 15th, that's our deadline as far as project water is concerned, to maintain a 700 CFS flow rate at the Wellsville gauge. And so we may see flows reduce at that point in time, although we do, like I said, have a lot of water up there still. So we may see that, flows maintain in the more, 600 to 800 CFS level as we move through the month of August. That's yet to be seen. Calculations continue to be made by the water engineers upstream. So tough to say where we'll be, come mid-August, but I would expect that we'll probably see, a little bit higher than average flows in August, which will be great for the fishing. Make the fishing a little bit less technical and a little bit more productive throughout the day. August is going to be a fantastic month. I have no doubt about it. July has been one of the better months we've seen on this river as Julys go in our 30 plus year history. So I expect to have fantastic conditions here as we move through the rest of what we term summer prime time. A lot of bugs out there, a lot of great hatch activity, a lot of continuation in the dry dropper fishing category, the double dry fishing category, a little bit of nymphing mixed in as needed on those high sun days when fish are just not willing to look up. But and don't forget those streamers, because streamer fishing is absolutely phenomenal, especially in the lower light time periods, the mornings, the evenings, or if cloud cover builds and moves in and you've got a big cloud bank, the streamer fishing can be exceptional. And still throwing big streamers, still throwing stuff in this category, double tandem rigs, Fish are very, very opportunistic when it comes to big flies in the strike zone. So a lot of fun to be had out there, and we are looking forward to a fantastic August and early fall. Let's take a peek at a few patterns that you might find in our guides boxes here as we progress through summer prime time. All of these flies are available in our fly shop here, as well as online at royalgorgeanglers.com. Let's take a peek. Hopefully that will help you a little bit as you plan for your day. And we'd love for you to stop by the fly shop and grab a few on your way up. Alrighty, folks. So it is a literal buffet of bugs out there right now on the Arkansas River Freestone. Really from stem to stern, a lot of different hatch activity. Let's take a peek. Number one, it's some kind of attractor dries, great for dry dropper fishing. A few larger attractor nymphs here that could be used under a large enough dry fly or for a lead or point fly in a double nymphing rig, whether you're indicator nymphing or Euro nymphing. Some better dropper flies for dry dropper fishing here, or tag flies, dropper flies in a nymphing rig. Some hatch matchers here, okay, and then some streamers. And so let's start with our water walkers up top here. Really one of my go-to favorite attractor dries. This one's going to be your gold color, your kind of tannish gold body water walker. You'll notice that these dries, if you watched our previous report early in the summer season, these dries are toned down size-wise. They are smaller, okay? So these water walkers are size 14. I'm fishing a lot of 14 and 16 foam dries for my dry dropper rigs. You know, when we have lower, clearer water, especially clearer water, fish are going to be a little bit pickier. They're not going to be on those size 10 and 12 dry flies as much. And so I do recommend you kind of tone that size down. So we've got our water walkers here. We've got a red Amy's Ant. You'll notice red on this Royal water walker, the red Amy's Ant, our red goofballs, and also our red double stack chubby. Red is going to be a key color through the month of August and September. We've got a Wookie hopper here, so a great little bit smaller profile hopper pattern. These are all going to be great for dry dropper fishing and good, single dries if you want to just go throw a bigger single dry out there. Good lead flies in a double nymphing rig or for a larger dry dropper rig. Your Waltz worm is going to be a staple through the month of August and through the fall. Your Iron Sally tied on a jig hook here, great point fly in a Euro nymphing rig, or great, dropper fly in a larger dry dropper rig. Crane fly larva, this is going to be your CZ crane. Crane flies are very present in the water column. We're also seeing them hatch here and there, so definitely crane fly can be a great way to go if you need something super heavy to get into those more hydraulic areas. Your Matte Demon Yellow Sally, so great Yellow Sally pattern to throw in a double nymph rig, or like I said, great dropper. Tongue teaser, this is going to be more for double nymphing. One of my go-to stone flies in the summer prime time. Don't forget leeches, black and brown mini leeches. This is Landon Mayer's pattern. Can be great to dead drift. A couple just pure attractor flies here in the nymph category. Psycho Prince fishes great in the late summer season, and our Blowtorch, which very well may be the number one nymph pattern you fish in the late summer and early fall. Moving into droppers, more hatch matching nymphs. We're looking at our red quill category first. This is a copper orange radiation. This is a quill flash over Perdigon red. So those are your both red quills. This is a Jig Napoleon in red. So those are all great red quill imitation subsurface. In the PMD category, this is another Jig Napoleon in yellow. So that's going to be a great PMD, as will the Epoxy Back PMD. That's Mike Mercer's pattern, one of my favorites. Caddis category, don't forget your caddis. A lot of different caddis hatching throughout the day right now, and subsurface activity is there as well. This is a net builder caddis. This has been one of our best patterns this season, one of our favorites this spring, and continues to produce really well for us. Tricho nymphs. This is an Ice Queen tungsten bead in the thorax, so definitely have a tricho nymph in your box, especially as we move into late August and early September. Hatch matching dries. This is a Missing Link red quill. That's Kelly Gallup's pattern. Great adult pattern, fishes good as a spinner as well. Profile spinner, this is more of our true high-vis spinner fall style pattern. Okay, your fin fetcher, this is going to be a great olive-bodied caddis pattern. Again, we are fishing double dries a lot, and I like to throw a caddis primarily underneath a big dry when I'm throwing double dry. Don't forget drakes. We're gonna have gray drakes, green drakes, and slate drakes out there in August. This is a bi-wing drake, a new pattern foam in the thorax. It's gonna be a great producer for us. We're already catching fish on this, and there really aren't any drakes out there yet. Another fin fetcher pattern in a yellow Sally, okay? And then we've got a clear wing tricho spinner. Definitely have a tricho spinner on you. You will see fish keyed to tricho spinner falls when those get really thick here as we move into the month of August. Keep a PMD with you. Although these are waning a little bit, you will find pockets of feeding fish on PMDs. This is a hot spot comparadun. And then we move into our streamers. It's pretty apparent that we like big flies here. Fish are very opportunistic in summer prime time and into the fall season. Obviously the fall season is pretty world renowned on this river for great streamer activity, but I continue to throw big front flies on a sink tip, short section of fluorocarbon tippet between this fly and your sink tip. Have something in the olive category or black category, something darker for darker days. Have something a little bit lighter like a flatliner. This is a Nancy P up here. This is a flatliner. I like that whitish olive right now for my bright days. And then trailer flies, if I'm going double, Thin Mint is really my number one, really hard to beat, but this is a mini jigged woolly booger. This has been a really good pattern for us. So there's a great look at a lot of different patterns, all available here in the fly shop and at royalgorgeanglers.com for purchase directly. Please let us know on any questions on any of these, and very much appreciate your support when you're stopping by the fly shop. Grab a few on your way up the river. Alrighty folks, so hopefully a look at those patterns will set you in the right direction as you prepare for your day on the Arkansas River Freestone. And just a reminder that many of these patterns I've showed you will be fishing for the next 2 to 3 months. We will obviously see some of those patterns drop off, like in the PMD category. May not see as many hoppers as we roll through the end of September and early October, but we'll see a continuation of red quill activity, tricho activity, especially a lot of caddis typically through the fall season, and dry dropper fishing will continue to be a staple through the fall season. So keep these patterns in mind as you not only prepare for, say, late July and August, but also the fall season. A lot of this stuff will hold true We will start to see some Pseudocleon Vetus later in the fall, in late September, early October. So we will kind of add that to the mix as we enter that time period. Also, reminder, these are all available here in the fly shop or online at royalgorgeanglers.com. We've got over 900 unique patterns available, and do appreciate your patronage and support when you come by the fly shop or shop online. And thank you so much for that. We've been in business now for 33 years as a specialty fly shop, and it's because of you folks and your support that, you know, get to help people every day get on the river and have fun fly fishing. So it is definitely a lot of fun to do that. We have some great availability in the month of August for guide trips, both in the wade and float categories, not only on the Arkansas River, but South Platte. We've got some great powerboat trips on Spinney and Antero. Backcountry fishing continues to be very, very strong. We've had some of the best days of the year here recently on some of our backcountry small stream venues, so that's a great option. Really limitless opportunities for guide trips, and August is a great month to get out there and enjoy. Obviously, we're already booking heavily for that highly touted fall season on our river, so we do have a few dates available in September and October. All those are getting a little bit tight. So definitely give us a shout if you're interested in a guide trip, or peruse our options online at royalgorgeanglers.com. We're available anytime here at the fly shop at 888-994-6743. We've got a chat line on our website. So during normal business hours, if you have a quick question, pop on the chat line. Happy to help you there. And again, open 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. here at the fly shop, located 2 miles west of Canyon City, directly on US 50. Stop by and see us. If you haven't been by the fly shop, we'd love to see your face in here, and hope to see a lot of you on the river as well. Thanks so much for viewing today. Enjoy the remainder of summer prime time and this early fall season, and please let us know if we can help you with anything as you prepare for your day on the water. Take care.